The doors of your car will close automatically. Please keep your head and arms inside and remain seated at all times. And please, no smoking. Thank you.
Matterhorn Matt presents Matterhorn Mondays.
Hey there, Mountaineers. Welcome to episode 18 of Matterhorn Mondays. I'm your host, Matterhorn Matt.
And I'm Alex, the historian.
And I hope you all had a happy, great, wonderful Christmas. I'm not going to make Alex go through explaining his channel, because if you guys are listening to episode 18, you guys already know who Alex the Historian is. And if you don't know who Alex is, I'm going to link his channel in the description. He makes amazing YouTube Disney-related vlogs and kind of mini documentaries about the park, and yeah. I'm not going to make him go through the whole spiel, but yeah, we hope you all had a wonderful Christmas, or whatever you celebrate, whether it be Christmas, Hanukkah, and Happy New Year's, because I believe this episode is going to fall on the 1st of January, 2018. So here's
and Happy Kwanzaa.
Yes, Kwanzaa. I forgot Kwanzaa along with Christmas and Hanukkah. I'm really bad with remembering all this kinds of stuff, but
that's why we say Chris Mahana Kwanzaa.
Oh, okay, Chris Mahana Kwanzaa. I'm gonna save that one for next year, but yeah, guys, Happy New Year. I hope you all have a fantastic year, and here's to making lots more podcasts in the future, and we're gonna have a lot more guests in the future. I know you guys are probably missing Manny. He'll probably return next week or possibly the week after. I haven't really discussed it with him. We've been really busy with our Christmas break. But anyways, this week's topics are tips when visiting Disneyland and the best and worst rides at Disneyland. So now we've sort of covered tips when visiting Disneyland in our previous episodes, but we never really went like full tips and tricks. Well, not really tricks, but I guess tricks, depending on what we come up with, but tips and tricks for visiting Disneyland. And I'm gonna go ahead and start off first this time, because I always make Alex start because I never know what to say, but I actually have a list written down with my tips and tricks for you guys. So
you hear that, folks? He's got a list. All right.
Let's see. My first tip/trick is to get to the parks early and to hit your favorite rides before the lines get long, whether that be Peter Pan or Space Mountain. All those, like major e-tickets, you probably would want to hit those first thing when you get there, so you don't have to spend 30 minutes waiting in line, or I guess 30 minutes isn't that bad, but 30 minutes to an hour to however long the line may be. You want to get to the park early because, just because, I can't think of a reason why, but it's just, it's a good tip, and yeah.
I'll tell you why. Okay.
Alex will explain it for you guys.
Yes,
I don't need
yes.
to.
It's a good thing to get there early. Now, you might be thinking, why get there early? Everybody else thinks that they should get there early, and it'll be busy if I get there early. But actually, it's just the opposite. You see, everybody thinks that if they get there early, it's going to be super busy. So what they do is they all wait to go later. And then what happens is it gets busier later because everyone waited. So actually, if you go to the parks super early and get there just before they open, you'll actually get there before all the crowds do, believe it or not. You'll have time to get to the park. And a lot of people don't know this, but just because Disneyland isn't necessarily open until like 8 a.m., on the earliest days, that is, doesn't mean that they won't let you into the gate before 8 a.m. They actually start letting people into the gate sometimes as early as 7 a.m. to wait at the entrances to each land. So they basically fill up Main Street with people who get there early, and then they wait till 8 a.m. to actually open the rest of the park to the guests.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten there that that early, but
way to go for following your own tip, Matterhorn Matt.
No, we usually get there around 7:30, 7:45. I don't know. I'm not much of an early bird. I like to sleep in late.
That's a good time to get there too. Even if you're there like at 8 a.m., that's still better than being there at like 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because as you all know, the lines at Disneyland these days can get extremely long, especially during the times of the year that you pick to visit. And visiting early will definitely give you a head start. You know, if you like speed walk in front of the crowds during rope drop, you can I guess speed walk your way to your favorite attraction before anybody else does, or even snag a fast pass, which kind of ties into my next tip/trick. But Alex, what are your tips and tricks for visiting Disneyland?
Well, my first one would be really pay attention to what you're bringing with you in the park,
yes.
Because and this has to do with going through security and going through the main entrance gates. Basically, a lot of people they pack themselves up like they're going like on a plane or something with all their luggage and things, because they think about all these contingency plans. Like, what if I burn in the middle of the sun, and you know I need my sunscreen and my sunscreen lotion and my aloe vera and you know like all sorts of stuff. And so they end up bringing all these things with them, which all these things require bags, and bags require to be checked. And you know, and so Disney has actually recently, I don't know if you heard this, Matterhorn Matt, but they started opening up lines for people who don't have bags.
Oh my gosh, did they really?
They did, yes.
It's about time. It's about time.
It is about time, because I go there without a bag all the time, and I have to wait. Like, sometimes I have to wait in a line that is an hour long just to get through security alone, because all these people have their tons of bags with them and their strollers, which are loaded up, and strollers have to be checked.
Entirely different problem.
Yeah, and strollers have to be checked too. Everything that you bring with you is checked at the security gateways, and sometimes you have a really what's the word? Dubious? Anyway, you have a really detail-oriented security cast member sometimes who really will go through all your stuff, which makes me feel safer, but it does take longer per guest. And of course, you're going to go through the metal detectors as well. So don't bring anything with you that you don't want to have to take out of your pockets constantly. So really be careful with what you bring. Like, pack minimally for the park. If you have to bring a stroller, which, by the way, as a kid, my parents never brought me in a stroller. They made me walk. And I'm still alive today, so feel free to make your children walk. But
please don't bring strollers.
But if you must bring a stroller, then don't load it up with bags. Make sure you bring as little as possible. And of course, some people bring their food with them because they don't have the budget for paying for the expensive park food. So keep your food packed nice and neatly so it's easy for the security cast member to go through. Honestly, the security cast member, all they want to do is get you through that line faster, and you can help them by keeping your stuff organized so they can just take a quick peek and then you're off and ready to go. So that's my first tip.
Yeah, guys, this is really kind of almost surpasses every other tip/trick, because you don't want to be the person in line that holds up the 50 people behind you at the security check just because you have five huge backpacks full of snacks for your kids and a huge stroller for your 6-year-old. You don't want to be that person, and packing lightly will really help you throughout the day, because that extra weight on your shoulders really will make a difference. It could lead to back problems, I don't know, shoulder problems, neck problems even. I don't even know. I'm not a doctor, but I don't know. This is a tip that I need to learn to follow more, because my last visit, well, for those of you guys that don't know, I'm a photographer, and I like to bring all my lenses, and I brought basically all of my lenses with me on the first day we were at Disneyland, and let me tell you, it gets heavy. For all you photographers out there who are thinking about taking your gear to Disneyland, just stick to, I guess, maybe like one lens per day. And I don't know, I tried to bring my tripod too, but I just couldn't. It wouldn't fit in my backpack, and I didn't feel like carrying it around. But yeah, it's just awful. But yeah, guys, I guess this kind of ties into a separate tip or slash trick. Tip trick. I don't know. I can't think of a more fun way to say that, but you guys should definitely utilize the lockers that Disneyland has. If you do insist on bringing a lot of stuff, you can at least stow away some of it during the day, and you can always revisit the locker and take out whatever you need, store whatever you need. If you bought a bunch of stuff from the stores, you can store it in the locker and just forget about it until the end of the day. Yeah, lockers. Use them if you need to, but not if you don't want to, because they cost money to use.
I have a funny story, if you'll let me.
Well, there's always room for funny stories, Alex.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay, so I used to be a guest relations cast member, who, as you know, they usually do tour guides and they operate the city hall and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they're often called plaids because they wear plaid. So I was one of those people, and one of my jobs was to monitor the locker rental area on Main Street. Mm-hmm. And also outside the park sometimes, but I would be stationed at one or the other. And my job was like to answer questions if people had questions and stuff like that. And anyway, so one of the cool things that I got to do was, if people had trouble getting a locker, or let's say they paid for a locker but the locker was malfunctioning and didn't open, then I had the ability to get people a new locker. Ooh. I knew how to operate the little computer that rents out lockers, and I knew how to get people free lockers. Mm-hmm. And to this day, I still know the password.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
But I must say, I am not that kind of person who would get myself a free locker every time I go to the park. I mean, I have that ability, but you see, I'm okay. You know what they said in that old Spider-Man movie with what's his name? I don't forget his name.
Tobey Maguire, right?
Tobey Maguire. Mm-hmm. You know, and his uncle says, with great power comes great responsibility. Mm-hmm. So with that, I have the power, to get myself a free locker or get anyone else a free locker. But I take responsibility with it, and I would never do that. So those of you who are thinking about asking me, what's the code? How can I do it? I'm not going to answer that, because that's wrong. That's
Alex,
so
you could
wrong.
Start your own locker renting service. Just have people pay you, and then you can just give them lockers instead of them paying Disney.
Ooh, that would be illegal on so many levels.
It's only illegal if they find out about it. Just kidding. It's always illegal, even if they don't find out about it.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, sometimes when I go there with like friends or family, it is hard to not want to get myself a locker. I'll tell you that much. But I would never. That's my funny story.
You hear that, guys? Don't go asking Alex for free lockers because he's gonna give you the whole responsibility. With great power comes responsibility speech, and he's not gonna give you a free locker. So
I love giving speeches. I just
Oh boy. Anyways, did you have another tip/trick that you wanted to mention?
Of course. Okay. So let's say you go to the park on a busy day, and it's so busy that they have crowd control out in the middle of the day, directing people to get through Main Street and get through the park. The key thing you have to remember there are actually two key things you have to remember when you are navigating the park on a super busy day. One is always stay to your right. Whatever walkway you're in, stay to your right. Because, first of all, cast members are going to tell you to stay to your right. But the other thing, too, is the more that cast members can get the walkways to act like a freeway, the better it is for people to get around. If you're just willy-nilly walking through the middle of a walkway, you could, you'll end up going head-on with other people that are going the opposite direction. It slows down the whole walkway. It makes things worse. So stay to your right and treat the walkways like they were a road or a freeway. And if everyone just stays to their right, whichever direction they're going, you'll get there faster. And the other tip that goes with this is also don't fight the crowds. Everyone tries to this is taking too long, and they try to speed walk forward past everybody. And all that does is it frustrates the people that are trying to speed walk, because they keep, they speed walk and then they get in right behind a slow family, and next thing you know, they're all frustrated because they were just speed walking and now they have to stop, and so you're just setting yourself up for frustration. Don't fight the crowds. Just go with the flow. Accept that it's going to take a little bit of time to get where you're going, and you won't have that stress of trying to get through the crowd. I mean, even the worst crowd to get through is either on Main Street or New Orleans Square. New Orleans Square can get so packed, and and if you're trying to get from Pirates of the Caribbean to the Haunted Mansion on a really crowded day, it could make you want to pull your hair out. So, don't fight the crowds. Just go with the flow, stay to your right, and it'll be much easier for you, and you won't feel so stressed out. And honestly, a trip to Disneyland shouldn't be stressing. It should be fun. So that's that tip. I'll let you all lend the microphone over to Matterhorn Matt for his next tip.
Well, that should really be one of the golden rules for everywhere you go. Not just Disneyland, because I see stuff like this happen in supermarkets. You know how, in supermarkets, they have, I guess, little kiosks in the middle of the aisle to divide the aisle into two separate, lanes? People should stick to the right side, just like Alex said, like a freeway. And I don't know, I always try to abide that rule whenever I'm in supermarkets, but sometimes there's those people who just like to walk on the left side and almost run into you and make you spill what you're carrying. But yeah, that's a really great tip, Alex.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, it can get really crowded. Don't get frustrated, like you said. Yeah, just patience is really what this whole thing is about. Patience with your walking. Don't get frustrated with people around you, because what is yelling at the person next to you going to do, honestly? What is yelling at the cast member going to do? He's not going to be able to push a magic button and make people walk faster or open up an overhead walkway just for you. It's just everyone else is in the same situation as you, so just try to keep your annoyance levels low and just accept the fact that it's crowded. Let's see. My second tip trick is to let me read. Plan your day and prioritize attractions. This kind of ties into my first tip, which is the prioritizing attractions part. If you want to get on a certain ride and not have to wait, the ideal way for most people would be to get there early in the morning and to just book it to wherever attraction you want to go. Unless it's Peter Pan's Flight, because that line is just always 60 minutes plus. But
yeah, it'll be 60 minutes even if like the park just opened like 30 seconds ago.
It is. It's so crazy. I really don't understand what is so popular about that attraction. I mean, it's one of my all-time favorites, but I just don't understand. Well, I don't know. Anyways. But to plan your day is really a big step, or not a big step, a big, I guess, checklist. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it should be a big, it should always be in your mind when you're on your first day at the park or wherever, you know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah. Because if you don't plan your day accordingly, you'll just end up running around to different attractions, but who knows the attraction you end up running to. Oh, the wait for Big Thunder's 60 minutes. Oh, let's go check out Space Mountain. Oh, man, that one's 50 minutes. You just gotta plan your day around the wait times. Take 15, 20 minutes to just sit down, look at the wait times on your phone, or if you don't have a phone, you can go to the little kiosk thing they have with the wait times, and just kind of plan accordingly which attraction you want to hit next. If your kid wants to get on Dumbo and it's a 5-minute wait, go to Dumbo, and then rinse and repeat. That's basically it for that tip.
My next tip, which actually coincides with Matterhorn Matt's tip that he just gave, which I swear I had it in my mind what tip I wanted to give next, and he kind of just almost took it completely out of my mind. So, okay, so this has to do with how to plan your day. And I actually get this question all the time, is like, how should I plan my day? And as a guest relations cast member, I used to help people plan their day all the time. I used to tell them how they can get on rides faster and more rides in a single day simply by planning out their time. And basically, there's a few tricks to follow here. So you should already have a basic game plan before you even get to the park. Mm-hmm. And I don't, and I say basic, I don't mean like, go through the stress of planning your whole day, because believe it or not, you're going to run into points in your day that don't meet up with your game plan, and that could be stressing. So don't go full out and plan your day. I mean, unless you have the My Magic Band, then you can do that. But if you're just there and you don't have a Fast Pass Plus thing or whatever, here's how you do it. So you have to know, first off, you get there early by the time that the park opens, and you need to know what the first rides you want to get on are, mm-hmm. because those are the rides you're going to run to as soon as walk quickly and safely through the park to get to the first rides that are going to be of low wait times. And let me tell you, Fantasyland, just avoid it in the early morning. Don't try, because Fantasyland often is already open due to early magic morning or early magic, whatever. Anyway, they have an hour at like 7 a.m. They open Fantasyland to hotel guests.
I think it's extra magic mornings or something like that. Extra magic hour or something. Anyway, so that's what they call it. It's open to hotel guests an hour before the park opens. So Fantasyland's already going to be busy, and Tomorrowland is pretty much already going to be busy because of that. Mm-hmm. So expect to go to the west side of the park. This includes Adventureland, Frontierland, New Orleans Square, Critter Country,
Did I forget one? No, I didn't. Okay, so here's what I do. My first game plan in the morning is to ride either Indiana Jones Adventure, Pirates of the Caribbean, or Haunted Mansion. Those are the 3 rides that I usually head to first thing in the morning because those rides would have just opened at 8 a.m. and there's almost no one in line unless if there's people in front of you who are walking faster than you are. But that's your game plan. Figure out, go to the west side early in the morning and figure out which are the first rides you want to ride because the first 2 hours of the park's opening, official opening, that means like, let's say from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., those are going to be the hours where you can get on a few rides in a very short period of time. Mm-hmm. So have that in mind. And then the middle of the day, lunchtime is going to be busy at restaurants. So you may want your family to eat and dine at a different time other than, let's say, noon, because noon to 1:30 p.m. is like the busiest time at the restaurants. So that, you'll have trouble finding seats, things like that. So you may want to have lunch at, let's say, 2 p.m. or even 3 p.m. And same thing goes for dinner. You may want to have a really late dinner because 5 p.m. is the busiest dinner time at Disneyland. Mm-hmm. So have those in mind. Last tip and trick when it comes to planning out your day is figure out ahead of time when the parade, fireworks, Fantasmic, figure out when those shows happen and plan around it, because if you want to experience the shows, then you're going to want to get, let's say, a fast pass for Fantasmic, or get a spot to save for the fireworks, or a spot to save for the parade. If you don't want to go on those, or if you don't want to see those shows, then this could be your time to go on a ride, because this is when a lot of people are piling up for the parade or Fantasmic or for the fireworks, and you're going to want to go on a ride. So that's that. Another thing that you will need to know for planning out your day is that the middle of the day, from like 10 a.m. to 3 to 4 p.m. is going to be super busy. You're going to see like 1 hour waits for each ride. So those are the hours in your day that you may want to go on attractions that don't have those waits, like Mark Twain Riverboat, or Sailing Ship Columbia, or Davy Crockett Explorer Canoes, or Winnie the Pooh, or even waiting for the Enchanted Tiki Room. So figure out which rides generally don't have long wait times, and those will be the rides and attractions you'll want to see in the middle of the day. Even I go to see the Lincoln Show in the middle of the day, because it's better to wait 20 minutes to see the Lincoln Show than to, well, is it really 20 minutes? It's more like 15. Wait, 15 minutes rather than to wait an hour or two to ride Pirates or Haunted Mansion. So these are ways to plan out your day and figure out when are the best times to go on rides. And just to quickly recap, the best time to go on rides is, first off, early in the morning or during a major show, such as a parade, Fantasmic, or fireworks, and also super late at night just before closing. So those are the best times to ride the most popular attractions. So, whew, I'm out of breath.
Oh my gosh, the parades and the fireworks shows completely just slipped my mind. I don't know how I forgot about those, but guys, rewind this, get a pen and paper out, and write down everything Alex said, because he definitely knows what he's talking about, and you guys should really utilize not just his tips, but all of the tips that were, I guess, contributing to this podcast in your next visit. I guess my probably last or second to last tip / trick is to use FastPass. I almost said FastPass. Use FastPass. Too many people do not utilize the convenience of FastPass, and if you want to pay the $10 per person, go ahead and use MaxPass because it's infinitely more convenient than having to walk to the ride to get a FastPass. But I mean, I haven't used it yet, but that's just what I've heard. But yeah, FastPasses, guys, it should be really on your top list of priorities. Also, once you get to the park, you can have a separate family member just go to a certain ride that you guys want to go to and give them all your tickets and have them get the fast passes for you while you guys wait in line, and then he can that would be that'd be like cutting in line, but you guys get what I mean. Have one family member go out to whatever attraction you guys want to go to, have him or her get the fast passes for you guys, and then while he's doing that, you guys can go enjoy other things, or you can meet up somewhere else and do something. But yeah, fast pass is really one of the really great parts about, I guess, the entirety of the Disneyland experience when it comes to planning and preparation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely utilize a fast pass. Like what I do is like in the middle of the day, if it's really busy, you're going to see the lines get to like an hour long, maybe a little bit more for the most popular attractions. And it may be that the middle of the day is exactly when you want to go on an attraction. Like, for instance, if it happens to be one of those days where the morning and night is super cold and you want to go on, let's say, Splash Mountain or Big Thunder because it's outside, mm-hmm. and you realize, oh, well, those rides are best to go on in the middle of the day, but that's when it gets the longest line. Well, that may be when you want to use a fast pass for that attraction. And so that's a great time to actually get a fast pass for those rides. But my next tip has to do with the fast pass service and stuff, and it has to do with riding rides in general, is basically hope for the best and expect the worst. Mm-hmm. And this means that sometimes, like, you want to go on a ride, but then an attraction breaks down. First of all, don't get angry. That's like, as a cast member, and I've been a cast member for years and years. I'm no longer a cast member anymore, and part of it has to do with this very reason I'm about to give. But what happens is people don't hope for the best and expect the worst, and what happens is they want to get on a ride and it's broken down, for instance, and they start getting angry, and it's something that they really wanted to do, and now it's not happening, and they get all angry, and mm-hmm. and they get mad at cast members because, oh, why is the ride broken down, and blah, blah, blah. And first off, let me just explain why rides get broken down. And a lot of times it's not because of something that is unexpected, believe it or not. It's not like a ride breaks down because a cast member doesn't know what they're doing. Most often, I'd say like 90% of the time that a ride gets broken down is because people are taking too long to get in their seats. And what happens is the ride vehicles behind them start piling up because they're waiting for people to quickly get in their seats and for the vehicle to move forward so that way the rest of the vehicles can unload their guests. And what happens is the computer systems that run the ride get overloaded because of all the backed up vehicles that are waiting to unload their guests, and the whole ride has to shut down and reset. So this happens mainly at Indiana Jones Adventure. This ride breaks down very often. And it's once again, it's because people do not sit down and buckle up fast enough. They take their sweet time, and next thing you know, all the ride vehicles pile up, and the whole attraction goes down. So, so believe it or not, usually a ride breaks down, and this I'll say is 99% of the time. It always has to do with the guests, not the cast members. Okay, it could be guests standing up on a ride. It could be guests not sitting down quick enough at the load area. It could be guests who are reaching outside the ride vehicle trying to grab something. So 99%
Which is
of
never a great idea, by the way.
Never a great idea. So don't get angry that the ride is broken down because it's a cast member not knowing what they're doing, like someone is, messing up their job. It's usually because of the guests. So hope for the best, expect the worst. And if you have a fast pass for, let's say you have a fast pass for Indiana Jones Adventure, you go to Indiana Jones Adventure because it's time to redeem your fast pass and go on the ride, and next thing you know, the ride is closed. Ooh, that can make people really angry. But instead of getting angry, the first thing you do is you go up to the cast member and say, "Hi, I have a fast pass for this attraction. I know it's closed, but what can I do to get back on this ride again at a later time?" And they'll either tell you, "Oh, just come back and we'll allow your fast pass," because they already know what time the attraction went down. The whole park knows. There's what's called an all call, which is a radio call that goes across the park, and it says Indiana Jones Adventure is 101, which means that it's broken down. So pretty much the whole park knows what time rides go down and when they're back up again. So they'll tell you, "Oh, just come back at a later time and we'll allow you to use your fast pass." Or they'll give you a special pass that allows you to go on any other ride for the day. So there's always a way that Disney can help you around those situations. Don't get angry and huffy and mad because something's not going your way. Ask cast members to help you and help you be happy. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, guys. 9 out of 10 times, if you just be nice to the cast member, like Alex said, they'll give you a slip to go on another ride, or they'll politely tell you to come back when the ride is back open. But yeah, this kind of, well, not really. I was gonna say this kind of ties into the whole crowd thing when it comes to getting angry, but yeah, it's not the cast member's fault, so stop yelling at the cast member. He's just doing his job. He might have had a terrible day, and you're just yelling at him, and it's making his day even worse. Who knows? But cast members are people too, guys. You can't just expect them, like I said, to push a magic button and have the ride come up right when you start yelling at them. Yeah, it's kind of sad that this isn't more well-known, because a lot of people out there really do take the cast members for granted. But yeah.
Oh, I can't even tell you how many times I've been yelled at.
Oh my gosh.
Like, yelled at. And you know me, I'm a really nice guy. Like, what reason do you have to despise me, Like, and I'll tell you, I've had people blame me for the poor decisions they've made in their day. I've had people blame me for the way the park is constructed, believe it or not.
Oh my gosh.
That is a true thing. I have been blamed for the way the park was constructed. So that is just, yeah, so be nice to cast members.
Yeah, don't be that guy that goes around ripping his shirt off and going Super Saiyan, yelling at the cast members just because you can't get what you want. But anyways, my last my last tip/trick is to meet the characters, guys. If you're going to a Disney park and not meeting the characters, what are you doing? The characters are arguably more fun than the attractions, arguably. If you've been a lifelong fan of Mickey Mouse, I think... Were you the one that told the story about the lady who wanted to visit Mickey Mouse a couple episodes ago?
Yes, I was.
Oh, yeah. If you guys have not heard that story, you should really go back. Man, I wish I could remember what episode it was in, but I'll probably link it down in the description for you guys because it's a really heartwarming story. And yeah, not cast members, characters are, should be on at least number 3 or 4 on your priorities list because especially if you have kids, your kids want to meet Mickey Mouse or Minnie or they want to get a picture with Goofy. It's really amazing. That's just all I can say. It's just amazing.
I agree. It's it's funny. I love visiting Mickey Mouse, and though I know that Mickey Mouse is someone in a costume, sadly, it's still fun because I'll tell you one thing that makes us so human is our love for the theater and for acts and for pretend, and that's what makes us so human. And meeting a character, even if you've never met a character before and you go, why would I want to meet a character? Really think about it. I mean, the characters aren't, it's not like meeting a character at Knott's Berry Farm where they're just standing with their arms at their sides and staring at you. Meeting a character at Disneyland is very different. They really are the character. They, the cast members that play the characters have really done their best to embody that character and act and do things the way the character would do. So it's like you're meeting, your true favorite pal, in person. And let me tell you, sometimes meeting the characters is hilarious. I've met Goofy. One time I was sitting at the Disneyland Hotel and Goofy came in and he sat on my lap and he saw that and he saw that I was eating like a Starburst or something. And he asked me for the Starburst, so I gave it to him and he ate it, and then like a minute later he pretended to sneeze and the Starburst came out. So really you can have some magical, funny experiences being with the characters, and I highly recommend that.
Yeah, guys, we've talked about this in previous episodes. It can just be so heartwarming to meet your favorite character. Like, they just have so much character. No pun intended, but anyways, I think that's gonna do it for this topic.
You know what's funny? I realized we could probably do a whole episode on that topic.
I know. I was thinking about that while we were talking. Dang, should have written down more things to talk about. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on to our second topic, which is best and worst Disneyland rides. I don't believe we've covered this topic in the past, but I know it's a kind of interesting one to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and let Alex start off our conversation.
Okay, I'm going to start off with kind of a little rule. Okay. And the rule is objectivity, which is we've already covered our favorite and least favorite rides. So this isn't about our favorite and least favorite. This is this is an objective look at what really are the best and worst rides at Disneyland Resort. And that could be between both parks. Okay. And this is basically to help people like get a warning or something like what rides to avoid versus what rides they may really want to go on, even if we personally don't find that ride their favorite. So like for instance, I'll start off with saying that if you're visiting DCA,
I have a feeling that a lot of the attractions are going to come from DCA.
Yeah. So if you're visiting DCA and you're a thrill seeker, one of the best attractions, and I don't like it, But one of the best attractions that you may want to ride is Guardians of the Galaxy, because it is so thrilling and a fun adventure. So I'm speaking objectively because even though I don't like the ride personally, I know that a lot of people who really are seeking that thrill and excitement and really want to get into that adventure, going on Guardians of the Galaxy is fun and exciting because I don't know if you've never heard of it. It goes, it's basically like an elevator, and it goes up and down. And
would you say a haunted elevator?
No, why? Why would I say it's Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh wait, wrong ride. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
I'm sorry. Matterhorn Matt is thinking of the attraction it used to be, which was the Tower of Terror. It's no longer the Tower of Terror.
I have nightmares where, well, I guess not nightmares. I have blissful dreams where Tower of Terror is still in operation in DCA, but continue.
Yes, but now it is based on the movie Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's an elevator shaft that you know it can pull you down faster than gravity. So it's a really exciting and thrilling ride. So that's one of the best ones at DCA. But of course, everyone will tell you that the best ride in DCA, and this is where I also agree, is Radiator Springs Racers.
Yes.
So that one is it's literally like stepping foot in the movie Cars, and getting to see Radiator Springs and the environment and the characters and everything is all just amazing, done like really well, and the attraction is so and it envelops you in the whole Cars movie thing, and it's just so great and so well done. So that is what I would say at DCA are the best rides, and I would say the worst.
Oh boy.
And I say this not just because it's personally the worst for me. A lot of people would agree that riding Heimlich's choo-choo train,
oh my gosh,
is probably like the worst ride in DCA. And for those of you who've never ridden it, it's a slow-moving little choo-choo train ride that is designed to look like the character Heimlich from the movie It's Tough to Be a Bug. And
A Bug's Life.
Oh, A Bug's Life. I'm sorry. A Bug's Life. Gosh, I love It's Tough to Be a Bug show. Okay, so it's about the character Heimlich from A Bug's Life, and he goes around a small garden area chewing through a watermelon, graham crackers, an apple. It's a little kid's ride. And even little kids will tell you it's boring. So, but if you have a 2-year-old, then it might be fun for them. But let me tell you, that is a ride you may want to avoid.
I guess just avoid A Bug's Land in general. I mean, depending on if you have kids, like Alex said, they might absolutely love that area. But yeah, that is not a great breeding ground for thrilling, well, not necessarily even thrilling, just entertaining attractions.
Quality.
Yeah, quality too.
It's lacking in quality.
Now, I have a question for you.
Me?
Yes, you. Do they still play It's Tough to Be a Bug at the theater, or is it just nothing but movie previews now?
You know what? For the most part, it's nothing but movie previews.
Oh,
but
boy.
Once in a while, between the movie previews, like I think even right now, they may have it open.
That's just so bizarre.
But it's rare. It's rare to have the original attraction open now. That's what's weird.
That is so bizarre.
And let me tell you, like, it's tough to. I've seen a lot of Disney 3D shows, in my lifetime, and it's tough to be a bug. Is definitely the best 3D show that Disney has. And the sad thing is that people aren't impressed by 3D anymore because now you can have it in your own home. But really, 3D shows at Disney, they used to be good. Anyway, so It's Tough to Be a Bug is really great because...
Well, it's more considered like kind of 4D, isn't it? Because the seats rumble and they squirt water at you, right?
Yes, and it has animatronics in it.
Yeah.
So quite a few, actually. So it's just a really immersive show, and it's so fun and creepy too because it's got bugs and things like that and spiders and but it's cool. And sadly, it's one of those attractions that is becoming more and more forgotten, and it makes me so sad. It really does.
I remember I went on that ride maybe once when I was a kid, and I hated it because it was so... The seats like had bumps in them that would pop up because it would be like bugs crawling under your butt. It was just so weird for me as a kid, and I never went on it again.
That one, I have learned how to avoid getting like bumped in the back and in the butt from it. Because there's for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, because this might sound weird being bumped in the butt with it, but basically the seats are designed to help be part of the 3D show. So there's a scene in the 3D show where the grasshopper, who is the bad guy, tells the hornets to arm their stingers and attack. And next thing you know, you get poked in the back with the hornet stinger. Or at the end of the show, when they tell the little bugs and their grubs to carefully exit the theater, you suddenly feel the bugs beneath your butt start moving. So yes, but it's one of those things that can really like make you jump, and that's one of the great.
Because you're not expecting it. You're not expecting
things
to poke your butt. That's just so weird.
Exactly. Or at least not at Disneyland.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, no, I'd like to go back on that ride at least once.
Me
until
too.
they eventually close it for good with that whole area. But yeah. I don't even remember when. Anyways.
Okay, so what's your DCA best and worst?
Oh, we're doing DCA first.
Oh,
okay.
If you want to do Disneyland, you can do Disneyland.
No, let's do DCA. Then we can switch over to Disneyland. Let's see. Okay, I'd say the best for me. Well, Alex kind of already stole mine with Radiator Springs Racers because that ride is just so immersive. It's basically a better version of Test Track at Walt Disney World. Test Track is just really bland for me. It just doesn't really do anything, but when it's linked to the IP of Cars and like the way they theme the whole area around it. I mean, once you walk into Radiator Springs, like the area, and then you go to queue in the ride, it's just really, I don't know, it's just so immersive. But I'd say the best ride for me at DCA, well, okay, not the best ride for me, but the best ride I'd say is California Screamin', because if you're a thrill seeker, like Alex said, Mission Breakout would be a good ride for you guys. But if you love roller coasters, if you're craving more than what Disneyland has to offer when it comes to roller coasters, the Incredicoaster, I mean, I can't even... Okay, California Screamin'. I honestly forgot the name of the roller coaster right then, but California Screamin' is a really great roller coaster for you guys because it resembles the old wooden roller coasters, the old school. You guys know what I'm talking about. Maybe you don't, but it's really more fast-paced than the ones at Disneyland Park, I'm assuming because DCA isn't necessarily family-friendly. Well, I guess.
Now it is, but originally it was. I know what you're trying to say. Like, California Screamin' was like one of the first rides at DCA back when DCA was supposed to be an adults park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I meant. More oriented toward the teens and adults, but yeah, California Screamin' is a really great roller coaster, and if you guys have a chance to check it out before it gets turned into the Incredicoaster, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, like personally, I don't like California Screamin' because I'm not a roller coaster person. Mm-hmm. Like, I can do Thunder Mountain and whatever, fine, but like, because California Screamin', which is going to become the Incredicoaster, it's thrilling and stuff, which is not me. It's scary for me. Mm-hmm. But I will say this. It is one of the smoothest roller coasters you will ever ride.
Yes.
It is really smooth. And some people go, oh, well, that's not. But, this ride is
compared to the Matterhorn, it's super smooth, guys.
Yeah. It's meant to be enjoyed. So California Screamin', if you're a thrill seeker, it's not one that's going to make you poop your pants, but it's fun, and that's the point of it. It's fun for thrill seekers. It's one of those enjoyable roller coasters. What was I going to say about? So, like Matterhorn Matt said, it's designed to resemble one of those wooden seaside amusement park roller coasters, and now it's going to be tarnished with Incredibles. But nevertheless,
Pixar manages to make it into every episode we do, even when we don't do a topic about Pixar. It's incredible.
It does. So that's what I have to say about that.
But yeah, guys, if you like loops in your roller coaster, California Screamin' has one loop, and I don't know. I don't think I've ever gone on any other like bigger roller coasters besides California Screamin', just because I don't go into any other parks besides Disneyland. But if you guys like loops, California Screamin's the way to go. And I guess the absolute worst ride in DCA would have to be Goofy's Sky School, because
Whoa. I did not expect that.
I'm honestly blanking on a lot of the attractions there, but Goofy's Sky School really stands out for me, and I'm sure for a lot of other viewers out there too. It's just, I don't know. Overall, I enjoy it, but it's not the best. I feel like it could be improved because it's basically just a cookie cutter Wild Mouse roller coaster. And man, when my family and I go on that ride, everyone else besides me has a problem with it. It's too jerky. It's too, arguably, it's too short, or it could be too long. Either way, it's just not good theming-wise. I mean, I understand the theme. Goofy is learning to fly. I think that's how the theme of the ride goes. But anyways, that's my pick for the worst ride at DCA.
Okay, so here I am, like, I'm going to talk again. Goofy Sky School, I would say, objectively speaking, it is one of the most boring rides in the park, in the sense that the ride itself was built for thrills. It wasn't built with good theming and story. I mean, technically the story is that Goofy is going to teach you how to fly, but it's just a Wild Mouse coaster, and that's all it is. It's just that's it. It's got sharp turns that make you, get thrown against your seat,
yes.
And it's got sharp drops that kind of give you a little thrill. It's just like Matterhorn Matt said, a cookie cutter Wild Mouse coaster. So I can see why he would say it's like the worst. I personally don't. I wouldn't go on it. I don't. In fact, whenever I go to DCA, I don't really go on it. I think one person made me go on it, and I was like, whoa. But I have to say there are two more rides that I think Matterhorn Matt would agree with me are probably among the worst in the park, and that would be the Golden Zephyr.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's basic.
That's why I've completely forgot about that whole little cluster of rides on the. Yeah, I agree.
So the Golden Zephyr is a large swing attraction. It's not like a normal swing. Like you get in something that resembles a silver zeppelin, and you get in one of them, and it swings just around and around, and that's all it does. It's not thrilling or anything. It's not even scary like a normal swing attraction. It's just anyway. It's boring, and you go around for like a minute and a half, and it's just the worst minute and a half of your life. And the other one is Jumpin' Jellyfish.
Oh, yeah.
Jumpin' Jellyfish is a kiddie version of a drop ride. So basically the jellyfish takes you all the way up, and it's like 20 feet, maybe, most, maybe 15 feet. And then it just drops you about like 10 feet, and then you softly land. So
it's just one drop, right? It's not multiple.
I think it's just one drop. So it's not even worth your time. It's like woo! Oh, okay, it's over. Oh, sorry, my phone's ringing.
Yeah, I remember. I completely forgot about Jumpin' Jellyfish. I remember the first time I went on that ride. I thought it was gonna have more than one drop, but come to find out, it's just one. And I was like, oh, I should have just waited in line for Tower of Terror. It's like this, except 1,000 times better. Anyways.
Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, so moving on to Disneyland.
Ooh.
Okay, objectively speaking, the best ride in the park... Oh, I might be stealing it again from Matterhorn Matt, but
I think you might be.
Yeah, would probably be the Indiana Jones Adventure.
Ah! Darn it! Oh well, I have a backup.
Okay, good. I probably have the same backup.
Oh my gosh, you probably do.
Okay, so Indiana Jones Adventure is a thrilling and fun, immersive ride. You get on a Jeep, and your goal is to go through the Temple of the Forbidden Eye looking for the lost Indiana Jones. And you end up going through a lot of the same booby traps and things that you experience in the original 3 movies of Indiana Jones. So you go through a mummy room, a rickety bridge over hot lava. You end with a thrilling run-in with a giant boulder. So it's a really fun attraction. It really shakes you around like a rag doll. And
in a good way, though, not like the Goofy Sky School shake around like a rag doll.
Yeah, in a good way. Like, I think one of my friends, to quote one of my friends, she said, it's one of those rides where you're very happy to be thrown around.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, so Indiana Jones Adventure is definitely like on the list of the best rides in the park for that reason.
Probably in any Disney park ever. That could be a really great like contender for a list like that,
But you know what's funny though? When you the approval rating given to the park by the guests, Radiator Springs Racers rivals the approval rating of Indiana Jones Adventure.
Wow, that's crazy.
It is. I mean, this is a little fun fact for you guys, but the approval rating by guests of the Radiator Springs Racers at DCA is 99.9%. That's never happened for any Disney ride in the history of Disney parks.
That is crazy.
Yes. So just imagine that. Out of 100 people, 99 and a small child 99 and a small child think that it is the best ride ever. Can you believe that?
Well, I mean, to give it credit, it is a really great
good
ride.
Yeah.
I guess I'd be in one of the 99 and a small child part, but
yeah. So Indiana Jones Adventure is definitely the best ride in Disneyland. Probably hands down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what is what is the worst Disneyland attraction?
The worst Disneyland attraction.
You're probably going to steal mine again. I hope not.
No, I think I know what yours is. And I don't agree. Well, no. I don't know. That depends if you're speaking objectively, but okay, so what is one of the worst rides in the park? And I would say that this comes from just overall enjoyment of the attraction is really low, and it is Storybook Land.
Oh yeah, that was gonna be my second number 2, but
yes, Storybook Land is a slow boat ride through miniature sets and models of houses and scenery from Disney movies, including passing by a small version of the Norway village that Anna and Elsa from Frozen come from. Mm-hmm. So you might think that this sounds kind of interesting, and in a way it is. It's interesting because you're seeing all these little models.
It's interesting on your first time.
Yeah. It's one of those rides that you can ride once and never want to go on again. And that's not a good thing when it comes to a Disney ride. Disney rides need to be able to live a long time. And yes, I know this attraction dates back to 1955 and is one of the original 13 attractions of the park. But it is no longer nearly as enjoyable as any other ride in the park. In my opinion, when it, speaking objectively. I mean, I do enjoy the attraction, but I wouldn't waste my time on it, which is a sad thing for me to say.
Yeah. It's usually one of the last rides we get on during our trip. I mean, I'm a really big fan of like miniature sets and like models and that kind of stuff, so I always make it a point to go on it at least once during our trip. But yeah, you're just sitting there. Sometimes the sun is just really hot and the sun's just like beating down on you, and there's no shade. It's just, yeah. I mean, at least a plus is that you get to see the ducks and their babies. That's really one of the only enjoyable parts of that ride, is seeing the baby duckies.
Yes, or, one of the most entertaining parts of Storybook Land is like watching a duck like totally destroy the town of Pinocchio. Like he just romps through the town like a giant. And then you're like, woohoo! And it's like the best thrill of the whole ride.
Oh boy, it's true. It's true. But yeah, Storybook Land, not my favorite. Oh boy, I need to think. Okay. The best ride in Disneyland is Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree with me. Pirates is just an outstanding attraction. Well, Alex stole my first choice, guys. He stole Indiana Jones from me, but Pirates is a close second. I'd say my third is probably Haunted Mansion, but yeah, Pirates is just, I don't want to say it's a classic because that's not really a good reason for it to be good, but it's really immersive when you get on the ride, and oh man, I honestly can't explain it. It's just a really, really, really well done ride until they butchered it by putting Johnny Depp in random places. But yeah, Pirates is well, I guess not for me. Pirates is the best ride in Disneyland.
You know, it's one of the really cool things about Pirates is the fact that you're really taken to another place. It feels that way. I mean, from the moment you get on the boat and go through the Blue Bayou, I mean, you feel like you're really in like a bayou of New Orleans, and then you go down the waterfalls, and next thing you know, you're in the past with the pirates, and you really feel like you're surrounded by pirates and that you're somewhere along the Spanish Main, and it's really a fun attraction, and you can just sit there the whole time and just enjoy yourself watching everything around you. I mean,
honestly, I could ride that ride all day. Honestly,
I could.
It's one of the only rides that I think I could bear riding nonstop for a whole 12 hours.
Mm-hmm. For me, it would be Haunted Mansion. I could ride Haunted Mansion 12 hours straight.
Too.
You know what? I would just like customers just to let me stay on the ride, and just so I can just go around and around and around again. Because Haunted Mansion, I would do that. So, what you would think is the worst ride at Disneyland for people?
Well, you see, I'm really torn on 3. There's 3 in my mind, or 3 that comes to mind when it comes to the worst Disneyland attraction. And I was gonna cheap out and say Gadget's Go Coaster, but I don't think that really counts because it's not really made for adults or teens to enjoy.
It's made for kids.
Yeah, it's made for 5-year-olds who want to be included when it comes to riding the big boy rides. But yeah, Gadget's Go Coaster would have been my first, but I don't think it's fair for Gadget's Go Coaster to put it up against the other 2 rides that I had in mind. Now, the worst Disneyland attraction is going to have to be... Oh boy. Alright. Finding Nemo's Submarine Voyage. That is hands down the worst, if not one of the worst rides at Disneyland. Now, all you people are gonna say, it's been there, Walt loved that ride, Walt loved the submarines. But this is not Walt's submarines. This is John Lasseter's submarines. It's been infested by Pixar fish. It's been... I don't know what else to say. It's hot in there. There's no room to move around. There's no air conditioners. You just sit in there. I mean, I appreciate the fact that they brought it back. That Tony Baxter was able to bring the ride back. But it's just not... No, it's just not for... Yeah.
I would have to agree with that because, okay, so it may sound really cool. You get in a submarine, and it really is, for all intents and purposes,
for the first
a
time
submarine.
you ride it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a submarine, and you go through the ride, and you experience through the magic of special underwater projection technology the characters from Finding Nemo. And you go through the ride looking for Nemo and experiencing the different things that you saw in the original film. And it's cool the first time you go through it, but the problem with it is just like what Matterhorn Matt said. There's no room to wiggle around. You're stuffed in this tiny submarine. It's hot in there. And in my experience, the experience that made me stop riding it forever is I was in there 2 times in a row when something really smelly happened. So the first one was somebody smelled horrible. They smelled like garbage. And it stank the whole submarine up. And we were and the submarine ride is like a 10-minute long ride. Okay, it lasts a long time, and you're stuffed in this tiny submarine with a ton of people, and even one person smelling bad will ruin your experience. Now, the second time in a row that the smelliness happened was a child with a full diaper. Okay, that was the one that made me said, I'm never riding this attraction again. Because for 10 minutes, and you can't leave. There's nowhere to go. If there's an emergency, like a medical emergency, the way that they get people out of the submarine is they have to wait till all the submarines move out of the loading area before they can bring your submarine to the loading area. Whereas, let's say you're on like a ride, like Haunted Mansion, for instance. All you have to do is like flag down a cast member who's looking on the camera, and they can stop the ride and get to you. It's not like that in Finding Nemo. You're in a submarine and you're stuck there until you can get to the dock because there's no way to get you out of the submarine. So, anyway, and this full dirty diaper just stank so bad. It was nauseating. I felt like throwing up. I think someone else in the submarine did throw up.
No. That would have just added to the smell.
Yes. And I told myself, I told myself I am never riding this again. The idea is cool. I mean, the idea really is cool that you're underwater in a submarine. I mean, how cool is that? But it's not cool when you're breathing in dirty diaper and people around you are puking and moaning from the smell, and you just want to puke and die. So real fast, I want to give my second best ride in Disneyland. And this is speaking from a thrill seeker's point of view. Space Mountain. If you're a thrill seeker and you're looking for something that is Disney but yet still thrilling and fun and exciting, Space Mountain would be it. Because it's a thrilling high-speed dark ride. You know, it's a roller coaster in the dark. And all you can see around you is stars. And it's really cool and trippy and fun. And you leave the ride going, I want to go on that again. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Space Mountain has to be at least...
Hello?
Oh, hello?
You there?
Hello?
Hi. Okay.
I think my internet might have cut out. I don't know. My parents were trying to stream a movie, but anyways. Yeah, Space Mountain has to be at least everyone's, on the top of everyone's favorite attractions list. Because, like you said, it's a roller coaster in the dark. How awesome is that? I mean, you can close your eyes on a roller coaster, on like a normal one, but it's not the same. It's just not the same as being in nearly pitch black. Oh my gosh, I saw this YouTube video a couple weeks ago, and it was like an ultra low light POV of Space Mountain, and you could see the stars projected on the walls. It was just incredible. Anyways, but
was it from LMG Vids?
Yes, it was.
Yes. He has like the best videos on YouTube.
Oh man, I know.
LMG Vids, if you're watching this, eat your heart out.
Keep making those videos because it's really, I don't know. We're getting off topic, but
yeah.
I mean, a big part for me is the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack that plays during the roller coaster. It's just,
me too.
It pumps you full of energy, at least for me.
Yeah, it's really cool. You know, even the original soundtrack from the 80s, that was cool too. I actually got that on a CD. I was so lucky to get it, and I was like, whoa. I'm like, even in the 80s, the soundtrack was really cool. But I still prefer the newer one, which is the one that plays right now. Yeah,
and it really helps because of the speakers that are built into the spaceship you're riding. Unlike Walt Disney World's, where there are no built-in speakers, and there is no
Yeah.
enthusiastic soundtrack.
No, the one at Walt Disney World sucks. I mean, the
It's
one at Walt
true.
Disney World, the one at Walt Disney World, it's so bright in there. You can see everything, and you can see the track. And then, of course, the ride vehicles are so old, there's no speakers built into them.
Yeah,
So
and it's only one person, like, I don't know. It's like the Matterhorn's ride vehicles, like only one person, not two-seaters. One-seater, that's the word.
yeah, it's a single column of rows.
Yes.
Like, so it's you're sitting in a straight line with people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anyways, I do prefer the queue in Walt Disney World Space Mountain compared to the one in California, but that'd be my only gripe about the ride is the queue. Sometimes when the ride gets really busy, you have to stand out in the sun over top the theater that plays the Star Wars whatever Star Wars movie they play there. But yeah.
But you know what? The loading area at our Space Mountain is so much better than the loading area at Walt Disney World's. The one at Walt Disney World's is boring. It looks like you're in an office building, And then you get on the roller coaster and you're like, "Where's the decorations? Where's the space feel? Like you're in the middle of you almost expect cubicles to be in there with you."
It's really true, but I mean, yeah. I love the queue. I mean the loading area. I think I said this before. The only gripe I have about the loading area is like the movie screen that they have. It's like really old, and it doesn't look very good, I guess.
It's like low quality CGI.
Yeah, that's what it is, and it's
Yeah.
like it's almost like it's really bright too. I don't know. Anyways, I guess my second... Oh, well, I already said my second would be the Haunted Mansion because it's so immersive. Who doesn't love immersive, spooky Omnimover rides? But no, really. Haunted Mansion has to be up there for a lot of people, too. It's really... I don't know. It's just Paul Frees's voice really makes that ride for me. I live for the pre-show and hearing his speech. But yeah. What is your honorable mentions for the worst rides at Disneyland?
Let's see. Worst rides at Disneyland.
Well, I guess none of us said the Disneyland Railroad for our favorite, and that kind of was passing through my mind as being one of the best rides at Disneyland, but
statistically speaking, the Disneyland Railroad is the most popular ride at Disneyland.
Really?
Yes, statistically speaking, because more people ride the Disneyland Railroad in one day than anyone rides in any other ride in the park in one day. And it sounds kind of weird, like, really? Like, why? But if you think about it, like, the line for each station, there's 4 stations, and you can wait in line at each station for sometimes, like, half an hour. And if you think about it, you take half an hour for each station, multiply it by 4, and you get 2 hours, a 2-hour wait.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so the Disneyland Railroad is really popular, and, oh, I'm sorry, I hit my dog in the face. This is not animal abuse. Okay, so, and what was I going to say about the Disneyland Railroad? That each train, unless it's the Holiday 3 excursion train, but I'm not going to get into that because some people aren't railroad fans, but each train can hold approximately 250 people. And so even if you multiply that by 4 trains, which one of them actually holds 350, but even if all 4 trains hold 250 people, they're always loaded with that many people, and they're going around the park, and that's like 250 people every 20 minutes times 4. Yeah.
I can't even imagine
4,
doing the math for
6,
that. But
8. That's about 1,000. Yeah, that's 1,000 people every 20 minutes, guys. Okay. So let's see. 20 minutes times 3. That's 3,000 people per hour. That's the capacity of the Disneyland. Yes, that's
crazy.
That's the capacity for the Disneyland Railroad is 3,000 people per hour. Now, to give you a good idea of another ride, the highest capacity ride in Disneyland besides that is the Pirates of the Caribbean at 2,200 people per hour, I believe it is. So imagine that. The Disneyland Railroad has a higher capacity, and in the end, it can reach 3,000 people per hour. So it is, statistically speaking, the most popular ride in Disneyland.
That is crazy. I mean, I believe it, because a lot of it is really technically a mode of transportation between the 4 stops that it has. I mean, people could hop on in a Tomorrowland if they want to get over to New Orleans Square, and then 20 minutes later they want to get back to Tomorrowland, they can just hop back on the train, and yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I just interrupted you, and we just went on a whole different topic about the railroad, but now what is your honorable mentions, or I guess it would be like dishonorable mentions. Yeah, that sounds better.
Oh, of the worst ride in Disneyland?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will say that on the list of the worst would be the Astro Orbiter, which is a spinner type ride. You get in a little rocket and it spins you around and around and around. Why would I say that? Well, because it's a very short ride, and there's really nothing to see as you go around and around. Now, the interesting thing is, I would not put Dumbo as a bad one, because even though it is a spinner attraction, at least you get to spin around the beauty of Fantasyland, and it's kind of cool to look at.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're in an elephant, which means what? Like, isn't that the Democratic Party? Anyway, you're a Democrat when you sit in the elephant. So, so Astro Orbiter is on the list of the worst, and I would also put I can't think of any others that I would really say is the worst. I mean, I love Casey Jr. Well, it's not about what I love. What do people love? What do people hate? People do... Okay, all right. One of the least popular rides in Disneyland is Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, okay. Now we're talking...
Yes. Now, okay. And that's funny because I love the Winnie the Pooh ride. I love it to death. And Matterhorn Matt does not. But I love it. But statistically speaking, the park does not love the Winnie the Pooh ride. It is one of the lowest visited attractions in the whole park. So most likely, you will not enjoy riding the Winnie the Pooh ride.
Well, I mean, it is sort of like hidden away in Critter Country, like way in the back of Critter Country. I guess not a lot of people go up to that area and to begin with, but yeah. Yeah, anyways, I guess that would... No. I mean, I don't know. I'm so mixed on that ride because I love Winnie the Pooh, but I don't like the ride. I don't know. I'll
the important part is objectivity. So do you think that the general audience would like that ride?
That's true. No.
No.
I don't think so.
There's nothing about the ride that really stands out, honestly. I mean, the only thing that is going for that ride is the fact that it's themed to Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
But really, speaking objectively, there's nothing about that ride that really stands out. And it's definitely one of those rides where if you waited half an hour for it, you would feel like it wasn't worth half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I guess I don't mind riding it, because the wait is always like 5 minutes. But yes, I would say, objectively speaking, it's one of the least popular attractions in the park. Mm-hmm. And most likely you would feel that your time would be better spent elsewhere. I wish I didn't have to say it like that, because I love that ride so much, but it really just isn't doing well. So,
I mean, I'd much rather meet Winnie the Pooh than go on the ride, but anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and quickly, I guess, run down my honorable mentions. I don't know. I would have. Well, I guess Gadget's Go Coaster would be up there simply because it's literally 30 or maybe it's 45 seconds. I can't remember. It's between 30 seconds and 45 seconds. 30 seconds for a roller coaster. And even if it's meant for kids, that is such a short time to be spent on a quote thrill ride, because it's just a waste. Honestly, it's just a waste. It needs to be demolished and replaced with something else. But
something bigger.
Yeah, a 45-second coaster would be way better than what we have now.
Yeah.
But I guess my other one would be, people are going to hate me for this. Maybe. I'm going to say Autopia.
Yeah.
A lot because of the queue. It's out in the open. You can get hot when you're just standing in line. And the ride isn't really... I mean, of course, like we say, if you have kids, they're going to love it. But as, teenagers or adults, you're not going to be able to fit, in the small little car that they give you. And it's really not going to be worth your time. Unless you're into driving miniature cars around the miniature freeway, then the more power to you. But yeah, I don't like Autopia.
Yeah, the thing about Autopia is that I think the only reason why it's still popular is because people rode it as kids and want to ride it again. I mean, and then of course there's kids who really want to ride it, but honestly, if you were to look at Autopia as what it is, against, and pin it against other rides and say, what is going for it, you'd have to say nothing. There's nothing going for it. There's nothing about the ride that makes it stand out as something that is super unique. I mean, people have more fun going on go-karts than they do on Autopia. And really, Autopia is riding on the fumes of its nostalgia and children's desire to drive.
And its literal fumes of gasoline.
Puffing into your lungs as we speak.
How can that be allowed, Disney? That cannot be healthy. Well, I guess people aren't spending an hour or 2 hours on the ride for every day to get like gasoline poisoning or something. But anyways, yeah, I guess that's gonna wrap up this episode of Matterhorn Mondays. This was a really long one. I hope you guys enjoy all the work we put into this. No, just kidding.
Well, not me. I didn't put any work into it. I was telling Matterhorn Matt before we started this episode, I don't need to make lists to figure out what to mention in the videos. I just wing it. And he's like, "Oh, I have to make lists to remember what I'm going to say." I'm like, "I don't need to do that. I just put the microphone on and start talking."
Yeah, guys, so you better like this video or else we're going to be really upset. No, we're not going to be upset. We're just going to be sad a little bit. Not really. You guys can like the video if you want, but anyways, I want you guys to comment down below your top, not really top 10 tips, but your tips when visiting Disneyland or any other Disney theme park for that matter. And we want to know what you think the best and worst rides in Disneyland and DCA2 are. And before you guys forget, go out and check Alex's videos. Go check out Alex's channel because he makes really amazing videos, and he uploads almost sometimes twice a week. So you'd be getting a lot of Disney videos per week if you subscribe to him. And plus, his videos are super entertaining. Yeah. You guys can follow me on Twitter if you guys like. And Alex, why don't you go ahead and tell people how they can support you?
Sure, it'd be my pleasure. So if you'd like to support my channel, you can get the free app called Venmo, spelled Venmo, and you just create an account and then find my username, which is @AYAlexander, and you can create a transfer request to send me however much money you'd like.
Yeah, guys, you should definitely support him if you have the extra cash available. Or you could just take out a whole bunch of loans and just send him as much money as you want. That's always an option. But
yes, please take out a loan and send me all the money.
Oh boy. Yeah, you guys can hop onto my t-shirt website and buy some of my t-shirts if you guys want, because they're really awesome, and I'm hopefully in the new year going to be making some new designs. So comment down below what t-shirt designs you guys would like, and I'll put the pen to the paper. I'll put the mouse to the monitor. Yes. But anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed, and we hope you all have an awesome new year. If whether you're spending it at home or at Disneyland, we hope you have an amazing New Year's Day. So, as always, have a great big beautiful tomorrow. Woo!